There's a moment in every athlete's career where the calendar just doesn't stop, where one chapter closes, and before you even catch your breath, the next one is already waiting for you. And right now, that's exactly where Alex Eala finds herself, stepping off one of the biggest stages of her life and straight onto another. Just weeks ago, the tennis world watched something historic unfold at Wimbledon, where Alex Eala capped off a solid grass court season with a historic run, becoming the first Filipino singles player in history to reach the fourth round of that tournament. Think about that for a second. Not the quarters, not a random deep run at a smaller event, but the fourth round of Wimbledon, one of the four tournaments every tennis player grows up dreaming about. For a country that has produced boxing legends, basketball obsessives, and pound-for-pound fighters the world respects, tennis has always been a quieter sport back home, the one without the packed arenas or the constant media circus. And yet, here comes this young woman from the Philippines, carving out history on grass courts in London, doing something no one from her nation had ever done in the sport's biggest showcase. That alone would be enough of a story for most athletes to coast on for a while, to take the victory lap, do the interviews, enjoy the moment. But professional tennis doesn't really allow for long celebrations. The tour keeps moving, the ranking points keep resetting, and if you want to stay relevant, you have to keep showing up. So instead of taking a long break to bask in what she just accomplished, Eala gave herself a short window, reportedly around 3 weeks, to recover, reset, and get her body and mind ready for what comes next. And what comes next is a trip across the ocean to Washington, D.C. for the Mubadala DC Open. Now, if you're not deep into the tennis calendar, you might be wondering why this particular tournament matters so much, why it's not just another stop on a long season. Here's the thing. The DC Open isn't some minor event tucked away in the schedule. It's a WTA 500 tournament, which puts it firmly in the upper tier of women's tennis events, just below the 4 Grand Slams and the very top Masters-level tournaments. More importantly, it marks the official beginning of the North American hard court swing, the stretch of the season where players transition from the slow grind of clay and the low bounce of grass onto the fast, unforgiving hard courts that will eventually lead into the U.S. Open at the end of August. Every point Eala earns in Washington isn't just about this 1 week. It's about building rhythm, building confidence, and building ranking position heading into the last Grand Slam of the year. And when you look at the players she'll be sharing a draw with, you start to understand just how loaded this field actually is. We're talking about a lineup that includes Jessica Pegula competing as a top seed on a wild card, Alina Svitolina, Naomi Osaka, Jasmine Paolini, and a defending champion in Leylah Fernandez, who won the title last year with a commanding straight sets victory in the final. That's not a soft draw designed to pad anyone's confidence. That's a murderer's row of talent, a field packed with former major finalists, Olympic medalists, and players who have spent time inside the world's top 10. For Eala, currently sitting around world number 32, stepping into a bracket like this isn't about hiding or playing it safe. It's about testing herself against the very best the sport has to offer and seeing exactly where she stands. And that's really the story underneath the story here. This isn't just a young player showing up to collect a paycheck or rack up ranking points against lesser competition. This is someone who, tournament after tournament, keeps choosing to play up to challenge herself against legends and rising stars alike, because that's the only way you actually get better at this level. You don't improve by beating players ranked below you. You improve by getting thrown into the deep end against the Osakas and the Svitolinas of the world and figuring out, point by point, how to survive and eventually how to win. There's another layer to this Washington trip that's honestly just as compelling as a singles draw, and involve a name that needs no introduction in the tennis world. Alex Eala will also be competing in doubles at the DC Open, and her partner for the tournament is none other than Venus Williams. Yes, that Venus Williams. A 14-time Grand Slam doubles champion, a woman whose career has spanned multiple generations of tennis, someone whose name is written permanently into the history of the sport. This isn't a random pairing either. The two first teamed up last month at the Bad Homburg Open in Germany, where they made a run all the way to the quarterfinals before falling to a tough opponent pairing in straight sets. Now they're reuniting, entering the DC Open doubles draw on a wild card, and honestly, just picture that for a moment. A rising star from the Philippines, someone still building her legacy, standing across the net or beside the baseline with one of the most decorated doubles players the sport has ever seen. There's something almost poetic about it. The passing of knowledge and experience happening in real time, match by match, point by point. Younger players don't often get chances like this, to share a court, to share strategy sessions, to absorb the mentality of someone who has literally won all, multiple times over, across different eras of the sport. Whatever happens in that doubles draw, win or lose, you can bet Eala is walking away from every match with lessons that no coach or training session could ever fully replicate. It's the kind of experience that shapes not just a tournament run, but potentially years of career. So, let's talk about what actually awaits her once the tournament gets underway. The draw for the WTA 500 event is scheduled for Friday before matches begin, and the tournament itself runs across more than a week at a venue in Washington, giving players and fans like a full week of high-level tennis before crowning a champion. The prize money on offer this year has actually increased compared to last season, which speaks to how much this event continues to grow in stature within the WTA calendar. But for someone like Eala, the money, while certainly nice, isn't really the headline. The headline is opportunity. Every match played against a ranked, dangerous opponent is a chance to gain something intangible, something that doesn't always show up immediately in the win-loss column but pays off months or even years down the line. Confidence built here in Washington could translate directly into how she performs on similar hard courts at the US Open just weeks later. A gritty 3-set battle against a seasoned veteran here could be the exact preparation her mind and body need to handle the pressure of a Grand Slam atmosphere. This is how careers are actually built in tennis. Not through one flashy breakthrough moment, but through a relentless accumulation of experiences. Tournament after tournament, city after city, opponent after opponent. And there's something worth pointing out here about the timing of all this. Eala isn't just squeezing in one tournament and then disappearing to rest. Reports suggest that after Washington wraps up, she's expected to continue her North American swing by heading to Toronto for another major hardcore event before eventually making her way to the US Open itself. That means what we're watching unfold in DC is really just the opening chapter of a much longer summer stretch, a stretch that will test her endurance, her adaptability, and her ability to consistently perform at a high level across multiple weeks, multiple countries, and multiple different playing conditions. It's a grueling schedule, the kind that separates athletes who can handle the physical and mental demands of top-level professional sport from those who eventually get worn down by it. And if her recent form is anything to go by, particularly that historic Wimbledon showing, there's real reason to believe Eala has both the game and the mentality to handle exactly this kind of stretch. Now, here's something that makes all of this even more meaningful when you zoom out a little. Alex Eala isn't just playing for herself out there. Whether she fully embraces that pressure or not, she's become something of a symbol, a representative of an entire nation's hopes in a sport that, until fairly recently, didn't get nearly the same spotlight as basketball or boxing back home. Every match she plays gets attention not just from hardcore tennis fans, but from casual sports followers in the Philippines who might not know the difference between a forehand and a backhand, but absolutely understand what it means when someone from their country is competing against the biggest names in a global sport. That kind of attention brings pressure, sure, but it also brings an incredible amount of support. The kind of support that can genuinely fuel an athlete during the tougher moments of a long season. And it's not just support from back home either. As her results have improved and her profile has grown internationally, more fans from different countries have started paying attention, drawn in by her playing style, her competitive spirit, and honestly just the compelling nature of her story. A young player steadily climbing the ranks and taking down bigger names along the way. There's something genuinely inspiring about watching someone represent not just their individual ambition, but a broader narrative, showing younger players and aspiring athletes back home that this level of sport isn't some distant, unreachable dream reserved for players from traditional tennis powerhouses. It's achievable with enough discipline, enough sacrifice, and enough willingness to keep testing yourself against the very best, tournament after tournament, just like she's doing right now in Washington. So what should we actually expect once the first round gets underway? Honestly, nobody can predict with certainty how a tournament like this will unfold. That's part of what makes sports so compelling in the first place. Against a field this deep, featuring former Grand Slam champions and players who have spent extended stretches inside the top 10, every single match is going to be a genuine test. There's no easy path through a draw like this one, but if her recent trajectory tells us anything, it's that Eala has shown she doesn't shy away from tough competition. She's shown at the biggest stage in the sport that she can compete point for point with players who have far more experience and far bigger reputations. Whether that translates into a deep run in Washington or a tough, hard-fought exit in the early rounds, one thing seems certain based on everything we've seen from her so far. She's not going to back down from the challenge. She's going to compete. She's going to fight for every point, and regardless of the final result, she's going to walk away from this tournament with more experience, more lessons, and one step further along in a career that already feels like it's building towards something special. And that doubles pairing with Venus Williams adds an extra layer of intrigue to the whole week. Because even if the singles draw proves difficult, there's a real chance for a memorable run alongside one of the sport's true legends, a run that could produce highlights and moments that fans will be talking about long after the tournament wraps up. As the matches get underway in Washington this week, all eyes will be on how Eala handles the transition from the grass courts of Wimbledon to the hard courts of the American summer swing, a transition that tests different muscles, different footwork patterns, and honestly a different mental gear entirely. It's one of the more underrated challenges in tennis, adjusting your entire game to a completely different surface within just a few short weeks. But if anyone has shown the adaptability to handle that kind of shift recently, it's her. So here's to watching this next chapter unfold, to seeing how far this remarkable summer stretch can carry her, and hoping that wherever this tournament run ends up going, it becomes just another building block in a career that Filipino tennis fans, and honestly tennis fans everywhere, will be talking about for a very long time. Make sure you're subscribed and notifications turned on, because as this tournament plays out and as her U.S. summer swing continues, there's going to be plenty more to break down match by match, moment by moment.